Hi guys, welcome to this video. In this video I'm gonna tell you how to push the colors of GH5 to its limits, but not beyond. And that actually means something very specific. It's not just random hype words that I'm using here, it means something very specific. So let's start. A few days ago, I was building the 5th version of the color correction kit for the GH5, and that is a set of tools that I use that I've created for the GH5 color correction, because I've had the camera for 2 years, so I've already kind of got my head around how the camera works and stuff, so it's a set of tools for that. Anyway, I was building the 5th version of that color correction kit, and I was surfing through YouTube and I was looking for HDR demos, and these are very specific kind of videos that television companies create to showcase how great their televisions are. And I'm looking at these from a normal non-HDR monitor, and when I'm looking at these colors, the colors look just so vibrant and like hyper realistic. So I just was wondering, like, even I'm not looking at this from a HDR television, and I'm actually looking at the normal version of this video, but still the colors are so like realistic and so vibrant. And I was just wondering, like do they use some very super expensive cameras that are able to do this, or what is the trick to get these vibrant colors? And well, I kind of continued working, and about 24 hours later, it just struck me. I kind of got the idea, like, okay, now I know why. So there's something going on in the subconscious that I really got this idea. I stopped everything I was doing, and then I went on study this new revelation, and then I was able to create a couple new lookup tables that will give much better color fidelity to our images. And yeah, so let's go through that in this tutorial, and I want to show you those new lookup tables, and then I want to show you some normal tools, normal tricks and techniques that you can do with your normal color grading tool set as well. And yeah, so that's the two things. I want to show you these new lookup tables, and I want to show you some techniques how to get even like amazing color from your videos. But before we go, I want to mention here that you are looking at this video through YouTube compression. So it means that YouTube is cutting down a lot of the color information from what I'm seeing on the screen. And for that purpose, I added some still shots from this video to this web page. The link is in the description, where you can go and see the colors on their full glory without the YouTube compression. And here you can actually see the kind of the difference in like, for example, this is the resolve input lookup table, and this is the method that we're going to use in this video. And from this page, you can as well go to this free mini course on color correction, color grading. And this free mini course will teach you basically all the same things that we're going to do in this video. So if you go through this mini course and you use the same lookup tables as I do, then you can achieve the same results as I do. There's no magic to this, just the techniques are here free for you to learn. Okay, so let's start with the tutorial. So first, let's jump on Photoshop, and let me explain you why you can't get as good color as they have on these high-end camera videos. And here we have a diagram. This is a color diagram, and this diagram, maybe color image, is image of all the most saturated colors of a given color space. So from highlights to the shadow, like all the outer layer of a color space. And let's actually look at this color space in 3D. So this is a software called 3D LUT Creator, which is a professional lookup table creation software. And inside this tool, we have this nice three-dimensional vector scope. And this, as you can see here, these two images here, are filling the outer limit, the most furthest from the neutral axis. This is the neutral axis, this is the whites, these are the blacks, and this in the middle is the neutral axis, and we're rotating the color space around the neutral axis. So you can see these colors are filling the very edge of the color space. So that's the you can see these pixels are distributed from this image into this color space. Anyway, you'll understand it in a second if you don't right now. So the revelation that I had was this, that if I shoot these same colors with the GH5 in the V-Log profile, I lose a lot of vibrance in the colors. As you can see, it's much less vibrant. And if we bring this image to this software and then we look at it, you can see that it's much smaller. The outer shell of the color space is much smaller. Like the faint line here is the full potential of the color space, and this is the potential that we're actually using with like currently with V-Log. Well, that is by design. That's the point of V-Log. It's supposed to give you kind of more working area. But the challenge here is that now that when we do color correction, we should get these colors to be as close to these colors as possible. So let's try that. First, let's try the official lookup table from Panasonic. This is something you get from the Panasonic website. And here, when you compare this, these are much less vibrant than these colors. And if we now bring this image to the software, you can see that the color space got bigger. The reds are quite nicely close to the edge, but the cyan and blue area, there's a lot of wasted space here. And if we rotate the color space, you can see that on the magenta side and on the green side, there's a lot of space wasted. So this is the first thing that prevents you from getting the most vibrant colors as possible, is that when you're using these lookup tables, and if the lookup tables are designed like this is actually a very good lookup table. There's nothing wrong with that. It's very, the gradients are very smooth. So this is a really good lookup table. But you won't get as vibrant colors with this because you're shooting yourself in the foot, because you're not working with the rest of the area. You might say that, hey, well, let's just add saturation and then let's fill up the cube. But then you run into this problem that you kind of you hit the edge of the color space, and that has a kind of similar effect on your colors as imagine yourself pushing your face against a glass. There's actually one photographer. Let me find this. This one, there's a photographer who takes these portraits of people having their faces pressed against the glass. So this is the same kind of effect that happens to your colors if you just push the saturation up. So you need to be very careful on not pushing your face against the glass. Okay, so let's try another lookup table. Let's try this one. This is from DaVinci Resolve's default lookup table for like an input lookup table for V-Log. And as you can see, the colors are really vibrant, almost as vibrant as with the original, as they supposed to be. But the gradients between these colors are actually very abrupt. And now let's bring this to our software. And as you can see, it does occupy a larger space in the color space. But there's something interesting going on. As we can kind of rotate here on the side, you can see that it's not hitting itself, it's not hitting the face to the edge of the color space, but it's still very flat. It's almost like the colors have already hit the edge of the color space, like your face to a glass, and then it was there too long that when you took your face a bit away from the glass, your face still looked weird. It's kind of like it has like almost, I can imagine in my mind that the engineers were pushing the colors at the edge and then they're like, oops, we pushed them too far. Let's bring them slightly down though people won't notice. But when we look at it from this three-dimensional color space diagram, we do know this. And well, you can notice it as well here that the color, it's very like these lines between these colors are really bad. And again, Resolve lookup table is actually a very good lookup table for color correcting a V-Log, but it won't give you the kind of best fidelity when it comes to very highly saturated and colorful images. So then now we get to the revelation that I had about how to make the colors shine as much as possible. And that is this new color lookup table that I created. And as you can see, the colors are pretty much as vibrant as the original, but the lines between the colors are not visible. Well, here in the magenta blue, this is very difficult area to manage, but other than that, it's very smooth. The colors are very smooth. And now if we bring this image to our three-dimensional diagram, you can see it's occupying a very large area inside the color space. But you can see here that the edges are, like you can see, they have not been pushed against the glass. They're almost there, but not touching it. And this makes it so that now the colors are occupying as much of the color space as possible, making them very vibrant, but still they're not clipping, they're not distorted on the edges. And by the way, before we continue, I want to just quickly add that you don't necessarily need the V-Log upgrade to use this method. In the end of this video, I will be showing you how you can turn other profiles in your camera into V-Log, and possibly saving you the hassle and the money of buying yourself a V-Log upgrade, saving you $100. Anyway, let's continue. Okay, so next, let's try this on an actual footage. So here we have a footage from a sunset, and I guess you have experienced it yourself as well, that when you take a photo of sunset, it never looks as vibrant in your cell phone as it did in reality. So let's try this. So let's apply the new lookup table, and there's actually four lookup tables. The color 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 1 is the most aggressive, 4 is the most conservative. So let's go with the 1 to get as much color as possible. So we get really nice colors, and next let me show you a couple of tricks and techniques that you can increase, like get even more color out of your images. And one is to bring down the exposure. But actually, instead of using the exposure slider, I'm going to use this lookup table from the color correction kit called V-Log exposure -1, which is a very accurate exposure adjustment layer. It's more accurate than this exposure slider. And then I could use this even more, and then I could maybe push the contrast a bit, because contrast adds saturation as well. And now we are making the shadows very dark, so let's bring the blacks up so we can again see details in the motorbike. And then for fun, let's just color the sunset slightly. This is actually quite fun because I can kind of paint the sky to whatever color I want. Okay, so here's our nice colors. And now let's compare this to the official lookup table from Panasonic. So let's go and load that. And it has much less vibrance. And let's do the same tricks here. Let's bring the exposure down even a bit more, and let's add contrast, like something like this. And I'm not touching the saturation slider now. And you can see there's still this is where you can see that you're shooting yourself to the foot if you use the wrong lookup table to kind of start the conversion. And let's try another one. This is the resolves lookup table there. And by the way, I want to mention this. There's this ring around the sun that you don't see at all as strongly in this lookup table. And if you use some other lookup table from the color correction kit, for example, the high one, which has a very smooth highlight roll-off, you don't see almost at all. And this is another example of a flaw inside the camera, the GH5, that this highlight, when the highlight is clipping very abruptly, for example, with the sun, you end up having these rings. And these resolve are quite okay. There's one lookup table from Leeming which is very popular among GH5 users. It has even worse this kind of ring around the sun. So just wanted to share that I've taken care of that as much as possible. But the challenge is that if I take it all away, then it will decrease the saturation around the sun. So this is kind of my compromise of taking as much of the sun ring or the clipping away, but not reducing the saturation elsewhere. Let's do a couple other examples of working with color. Here, this is I had the chance to work with the city, my home city, Tampere, and they have this area where they encourage graffiti artists to create these very colorful, very beautiful pieces of art, graffiti art. And I color corrected this with the new lookup table, the color 4, and then some adjustments. So let's try, and how would it look if we would use the official lookup table. So this is the official lookup table from Panasonic, and this is the new lookup table. And here on this diagram, by the way, this diagram is the very same diagram as this, but here we are looking at it from the side, and if I right click, we're looking at it from the top. And if I open up this software, we are looking at the same cube. As you can see, there's RB, red, blue, green, yellow, magenta, cyan. So the same edges of the cube. Here's magenta, here's cyan, here's yellow, green, red, blue. So we're looking at the same cube, now from the top, now from the side, and in Premiere, in other programs, we are looking from the cube from the top. Anyway, so here you can see that the colors in this image are occupying much smaller area inside the color space, inside this cube, with the official lookup table than with this. And now let me show you what happens if we try to, like what to consider when you try to push these colors from this official lookup table. Let's see, like let's make this as big as it was in the color lookup table. So let's push it all the way to 200. And well, now it looks like it's occupying pretty much the same area, same ballpark at least. But the image still looks very dull comparing to this one. So let's bring contrast, and let's bring the whites down, blacks down, maybe the shadows down, highlights up. And now it's starting to look, well, yeah, it's starting to look kind of similar when it comes to vibrance. But now if we do it like this, we are sacrificing color accuracy. For example, if you look here at the yellows and this reddish bricks, these look like they're painted with red paint now. In here they look much more natural, and here the yellows look, well, more natural. And this is the problem if you just push the colors to the side, that you're losing color accuracy. Because, for example, if I just copy this Lumetri panel effect and I go here with the image of some skin tones, lovely Shirley, and this is the original vlog, and now I paste it, you can see that skin tones went boom, like really off. And that's actually something you need to be very careful when you're working, like pushing the saturation to the limits, that you need to be careful with the color accuracy. When on the same time with this, this is actually, let's see which color, this is the color 4 lookup table. So the saturation is here at the same, like 100%. So it's the same as it was here with these very vibrant colors. It's the same saturation level, but still the skin tones look natural. And then another problem that you might encounter if you just push the colors to the side is we have this graffiti of this very red strawberry piece of art. And if I now paste the same Lumetri effect to this, you can see that these colors are very, well, they look very vibrant, actually even more vibrant than they look in the this color lookup table. This is color 1, so this is most aggressive one. They look even more vibrant. But then look at this vectorscope. Here is this thing called, like, well, I call it the safety line when it comes to colors. And I recommend that you never push your colors beyond the safety line. And the reason is that if we now go and zoom in all the way to the strawberry, this looks, the side of the strawberry looks like it's polished plastic, because the colors are clipping. As you can see here, it's like pushing away, it's pushing way up, beyond the safety line. So now if I show you the lookup table, the color 1, well, where is it? The color 1 lookup table, it's not beyond, well, there's some small pixels here and there that go beyond it, but most of the, like this actual bulk of the image, the pixels don't go beyond the safety line. And that causes that allows me to see detail here on the wall. Maybe not on YouTube because of YouTube compression, but I can see clearly details here in the concrete wall. And it looks, to my eye, this looks like a concrete wall with a red paint, when this one looks like polished plastic. And you can see it on the diagram that it's really kind of going well beyond the safety line. So when you're working with like this, you need to be careful on not push the colors beyond the safety line. So let's bring them down, something like that. So this would be much better. And then this looks again much more vibrant than this. But still, this is like one thing that I want to kind of word of warning when it comes to this, that this is the first version of this color correction, this lookup table that I've created. I just created a few days ago. So I have created this in daylight conditions, and if you shoot in some other conditions, for example low light or maybe tungsten light or halogen light, the colors, the sensor might behave, and it actually does behave slightly different. So the colors might, because I'm pushing them all the way to the edge, if you shoot in a different condition, it might kind of make them funky. So just be careful with, because this is so aggressive lookup table, it's kind of pushing the colors as wide as possible. In some cases it might push them too far. For example, in this, when the girls are in shadow, the skin tones go a bit off. The highlights look really natural and really good, the waterfall looks good, but the skin tones in the shadows look a bit off. So just be mindful of that, and then in these different softwares you have these tools to kind of bring the saturation down. Don't bring it too much down, because everything else is so saturated. They look like zombies now. So just bring it to like just slightly down so that it looks natural. Okay, so and then you might say that you don't have the V-Log upgrade for your camera, and I just want to show you that you don't actually need it, because you can use, for example, Cine D, natural, standard or hybrid log profiles in the GH5, and in the color correction kit that I have created for the GH5, I have lookup tables to turn those profiles into V-Log. Well, it's just remapping the colors to V-Log color space, but for example, hybrid log gamma is as wide, it captures as wide range of colors as V-Log, so you don't need to worry about losing color details if you're using the hybrid log gamma profile. So for example, this is hybrid log gamma, and first I'm gonna apply a hybrid log gamma to V-Log lookup table to turn that into V-Log, and then I'm using the color one lookup table to give it a very like aggressive color treatment, getting the most vibrance out of the sensor as possible. And if you don't have the GH5 camera, don't worry, you can still use these lookup tables, because for example, this is the Mavic 1 Pro camera, and I've shot it with the D-Log profile. And here I'm going to, let's see, here I'm going to first apply a lookup table from the color correction kit from D-Log to V-Log, and then, and by the way, I'm doing this adjustment in V-Log color space. They work really well. These sliders work so well when you are in V-Log profile. And then on the creative tab, I'm gonna use the color one lookup table, and I got really vibrant and nice colors to my drone footage. Okay, so that's about it. That's the color correction workflow that I use to get the most color possible. And now I recommend you to go to this webpage, so the link is in the description, and join the free mini course to learn the same techniques that I'm using in this tutorial. And then you can get the color correction kit here as well, because I'm adding these lookup tables in the version 5 of the color correction kit, and you can go and get the color correction kit from this link. And if you're lucky and you're watching this video before the year 2019, there's a sale going on for the GH5 color correction kit. So if you go and get it now, then you might be lucky to get it with a very nice discount. And yeah, that's about it. Go and join the course, get the kit, and yeah, subscribe to the channel, of course. Yeah, subscribe to the channel. I will be doing more color correction tutorials and other tutorials as well. Okay, thank you. It's been a pleasure ride, and well, I don't know, good Christmas. Yeah, if you're looking at this before Christmas, good Christmas and Happy New Year.